Hello and welcome once again to this Red Gaming Tech video. Myself and Martin. Well, as always, I'm here with the latest from the tech world in the last 24 or so hours. We've got some AMD news to kick things off today, including a confirmation of the 50th anniversary edition of the 2700X. Now, I'm sure you guys watched my video yesterday where I discussed the rumoured specifications for the Ryzen 2700X 50th Anniversary Edition processor, and at the time we had seen a couple of previous leaks, but it had yet to be officially confirmed, but now it has 110% been confirmed. There is even a web page over at amd.com/AMD50. You can go there yourself and see a lovely message from Lisa Su and a bunch of other stuff as well. Interestingly as well, we also have, alongside the 2700X, a special edition of the Radeon VII GPU, which has a red coloured shroud, at least as suggested by the packaging. Unfortunately, the box for the Ryzen 2700X doesn't give much away at all. Some spangly gold bits on, but we have no indication if there's going to be anything special about the CPU itself. Probably not, but it probably will have something cool inside, like maybe a letter from Lisa Su or something like that to make it a bit more special, as it is allegedly, according to the retailer listings that I discussed yesterday, more expensive than the normal 2700X, but will keep the same specifications. Now, unfortunately, there are no details about the specs of either of these new editions, so it's likely that they are the same. AMD would most likely confirm that these were different if that was the case, given that they are out on April the 29th. So it is just going to be a special edition of either the Radeon VII or 2700X, depending on which one you end up going for. But it's highly possible that we'll just get more information in the future, so don't take that as 110% confirmed, but I would say it makes it more likely that the specs are most likely not going to be radically different. They might be slightly different, but it's most likely going to be a special look for the Radeon VII, at least from the box, something inside, and Ryzen 7 probably just something inside, but again, that could be completely and utterly wrong. Again, you can see the AMD website for yourself, linked in the description below this video. Next up, however, we have some very nice information from Intel regarding the 9th generation mobility processors. Now, the name of these is probably going to ring a bell because we have discussed leaked benchmark specifications and all that sort of stuff about these mobile CPUs for quite some time. So the 9th generation mobility H series has been officially unveiled by Intel and is being led by the flagship 9980HK, which is an 8-core 16-thread part with a turbo boost of 5 GHz at only a TDP of 45 watts, which is rather impressive, I'm sure you'd agree. Oh, and just to clarify, the base clock for that is at 2.4 GHz. Now we also have the 9980H, the 9850H, the 9750H, the 9400H, and the 9300H. Now, we do see 8 cores, 16 threads for both of the 9980s, unsurprisingly, but we do see a slightly lower turbo clock on the 9980H, which is 4.8, and 9850 is 2.6 base, 4.6 boost, and also is only 6 cores at 12 threads, and the 9750H is also 6 cores and 12 threads, but again, a slightly lower turbo clock of 4.5 versus the 4.6 of the 9850. And then the i5 is 4 cores, 8 threads, a base of 2.5 and a boost of 4.3. And then for the 9300H we have 2.4 as the base clock and 4.1 as the turbo, again with 4 cores, 8 threads. So even the lower end SKUs here are not too shabby at all. But we also see some extra support being thrown in here as well. We are seeing Wi-Fi 6 being supported alongside Intel Optane Memory H10, and also support for their SSD 6060p, as well as a total DIMM capacity of 128GB of DDR4. Now, Intel did also release some information about the performance of this chip, but as per usual, we should wait for more complete information when it comes to this, reviews, all that sort of stuff. But they did compare it against a 3-year-old system, and they showed up to 56% faster performance in gaming, and when it comes to video editing in 4K, 54% faster. So they are not messing around with this mobility lineup. So if you're looking for, a creation station on the go or mobile workstation or something like that that still needs a bit of power under the hood, then these are definitely a worthy option to at least consider, looking at the improvements and the pure raw power that Intel are actually bringing to the table here. And also just a bit of a follow-up, next up we have something from Nvidia. Now yesterday we were talking about the GTX 1650 Ti, but I'm actually here to talk about the GTX 1650 as the card has now been launched officially by Nvidia for $149 US. So just to go over the specs that we now have officially confirmed, the official TDP is 75 watts. We have a base clock of 1485 MHz and a boost of 1665, and we have a bandwidth of 128 gigabytes a second. Again, this is going to be $150. Now, interestingly, this could actually just be powered through the direct connection to the board. It doesn't actually require a 6-pin power connector, but several of the additions that have been made by third-party manufacturers have deigned to add one, probably due to dual fans, or just wanting to have that extra bit of power stability. But there you have it. It is now officially launched today, and not too shabby price tag either. Be interesting to see how it compares not only to the 1660 but of course its direct competitors from the previous generation. Of course, that I think is going to be the real test of money here. But we're going to finish things up today with a little something for the PlayStation 5. Now, as I've discussed a few times now, we do know a fair bit about the PlayStation 5 in terms of the specifications. There was a recent video by Paul in which he did discuss everything that was revealed officially by Mike Cerny. He is actually working on something rather in depth when it comes to the PlayStation 5. He has dug up lots of really interesting information. I'm obviously not going to talk about it here because he is working on a really long script. He said it was like 7 or 8 pages or something long. So keep your seatbelts buckled for that one, guys. Should be on its way to you rather soon. Anyway, one of the things that we don't know is the price. And we've heard a few rumblings here and there. One of the other prices that we've heard recently is $499. And given that this is a console that has some premium features like ray tracing and all that sort of stuff, we are expecting it to have a more premium price tag, and Mark Cerny did not want to discuss the price at all, but he did kind of hint that it would be slightly more expensive, and I was fully expecting, as I said myself in a recent video, for it to be priced around the same sort of price tag as the Xbox One X at $499. However, according to a new source, we're actually going to be looking at $400 for the price tag. And this is according to an analyst. Now that is definitely possible. Sony obviously want to kind of get the right balance between not losing any money or as little money as possible on the console sold at launch versus actually giving a competitive price, especially considering what they might have been hearing through the grapevine about what Microsoft are up to when it comes to the pricing of the Xbox One Scarlet. Oh, sorry, the Xbox Scarlet, should I say, not the Xbox One Scarlet. Now at $400, they would most likely would be losing money at $400, at least at launch. Now, of course, as they refine the manufacturing process and all that sort of stuff, it is going to be less expensive to produce a PlayStation 5 as the years go on. It's pretty standard to at least lose a little bit of money on a console when it first comes out, but $400 might be a little bit low. Maybe $450. I think $450 would be reasonable. It's not that much lower than the $499 we've been heard rumblings about. But again, $400 is not outside the realm of possibility. I just think that might be a touch low in terms of how much that's actually going to cost Sony to produce. But again, they might be willing to take that hit first of all if that means they can really undercut Microsoft. I think, to be honest, as with any console generation, it's going to be all about the games. Having great specs is obviously great, and having competitive price is really important. One of the things that undoubtedly set the PlayStation 4 ahead of the Xbox One was the fact that it was cheaper before they removed the Kinect, of course. That definitely helped them out, and so the PS4 was more powerful than the Xbox One. But what really won Sony this, other than the cheaper price, I think was it. And obviously Microsoft really bungled the launch. I've discussed this in a video not too long ago about how the Kinect issues and the DRM and all the confusion, and the reveal of it was just a mess. Sony definitely had a win sort of handed to them at first. But what I'm trying to get to here is what really won it for them in the long run was the games. That's what people really care about. What games can I play on it? Do I care about the games that are released on this system? If the answer is no, then the answer from that person is probably going to be no as well. Because, at the end of the day, you're not buying it because it's the most powerful. You're buying it because you want to play the latest God of War or whatever. So that's really what's going to make this, and Microsoft have definitely shown they are not messing around when it comes to the amount of studios they've been buying and how much they're pushing to improve their games lineup, because they're very aware that's one of the weakest areas of the Xbox One. So it's definitely going to be a generation to watch, I think. I think both companies have learned a lot from this current generation, especially Microsoft. So we're going to see those lessons come into play, I think, when these consoles come out, probably next year. Anyway, that is me done for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, support is highly appreciated, and I'll see you next time.